Hello, my name is Charles Webster Baer, and today is April 23rd, 2020, and I'm in Redmond, Oregon, USA. And my website is globalinternetgovernment.com. And today I'm doing a documentary on the universe. Now, the universe may have always been around. And if it was, good for the universe. And if it wasn't, then it was created 14 billion years ago. If the universe has always been around, then 14 billion years ago, it increased to a size that humans can comprehend. And if it was created, it was created. Anyway, the universe began with a large bang, and it was an energy plasma. And as this energy plasma expanded, it started to cool and formed quantum particles. But before that, it created dark matter and dark energy, which is stuff that exists, but we can't see it yet. Anyway, as the universe continued to expand, it continued to cool, and these quantum particles like bosons and photons and quarks and leptons formed protons and neutrons and electrons. And as the universe continued to expand and cool, these formed hydrogen atoms. And as the hydrogen atoms continued to expand and cool, they formed clouds of hydrogen. And then gravity acted on those clouds and pulled them together. And the gravity in the middle of these hydrogen clouds that were now condensing because of gravity got so great that fusion and fission occurred and stars were born. Then the universe continued to expand, and it continued to increase its speed of expansion, and gravity acted on these stars and formed galaxies. And 5 billion years ago, in the Milky Way galaxy, our sun was created, and our planets were created out of what was left over from the creation of the sun. And then 4 billion years ago, random chemical reactions created life, and life evolved into plants, which evolved into fish, which evolved into reptiles, which evolved into mammals, which evolved into monkeys, which evolved into apes, which evolved into humans, which evolved into robots, and robots went on to colonize the rest of the galaxy and the rest of the universe. And that's the history of the universe. And that is my documentary on the universe. However, I'd like to go backwards and focus on a period in time, the beginning of the 3rd millennium AD, also known as the present, because that's what I really want to talk about. And so I'll get to that in a little bit. Anyway, humans evolved in southern Africa about 3 million years ago. And then humans left Africa about 200,000 years ago. And humans colonized the whole planet. And we developed language and farming and societies, cultures, and about 2,500 years ago, the Greeks invented democracy and laid the foundation for Western civilization. Around the same time, some cat from Nepal headed south to India, some dude named Buddha, and he had a bunch of interesting ideas about the soul. Basically, what he said is that it's highly unlikely that you have a soul, but if you do, then life is just an illusion. And in my opinion, he was correct. And this Buddhism went east to China, where they got it correct, and it went west to Jerusalem, where they misinterpreted it not once but twice, Christianity and Islam. And so that created a lot of hijinks and shenanigans that I won't go into. Anyway, so then, around the 1600s in England, we had the Industrial Revolution, and Europeans got technology. And then in America in 1776, we decided we wanted to be free. So we fought for our freedom. And then there's a couple of wars. And then in the 1960s, people started to talk about environmentalism. And environmentalism is the idea that you don't want to kill the planet. And this is a biological issue because humans are biological animals, carbon-based life forms, just like everything else, except for silicon-based life forms. But anyway, humans are animals, and we need oxygen to breathe to survive. And that oxygen is made from plants and trees, which take sunlight and use it to take carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide out of the air and turn it into oxygen. And they use the carbon for their wood and leaves and stuff, sugar. So humans need that oxygen to breathe. And so we need a certain amount of plants and trees on the planet Earth to create the oxygen that we need to survive. And if we kill too many of those plants and trees, then we won't have enough plants and trees to make enough oxygen for us to breathe and continue to survive. So that was environmentalism. It's basically, environmentalists were like, hey, we're on a suicide course. We're destroying the planet, and then when we destroy the planet, we destroy ourselves. So in the 1960s, people were talking about environmentalism, which is good. Unfortunately, in the 1980s, they got distracted and lost focus. However, the Chinese people did not lose focus. And in the 1980s, the Chinese government created depopulationism, which was the first real environmental action by anyone. So depopulationism means that depopulationists, like myself, want to create a significant and sustained and immediate decline in the human population, which is also called the one-woman, one-child policy. In other words, depopulationism means that it's illegal for anybody to get pregnant a second time. Because right now, the number of people on the planet is going up, and depopulationists think that's the wrong direction. We'd like the number of people on planet Earth to go down. We feel that's the correct direction until it gets to a sustainable level, which is the number for future generations to determine. But I'm going to guess it's around 2 or 3 billion people. But, yeah. So anyway, that's depopulationism. And that's what modern environmentalism is. And in order to create, or in order to move the depopulationism agenda forward, I created GIG, Global Internet Government, in the year 2000 in Portland, Oregon. And GIG is a world government, and GIG is going to unite the planet politically with freedom and democracy and female reproductive rights. And female reproductive rights means all women on Earth have the right to total and free access to all forms of birth control, including birth control education and abortion. And any government that does not approve of this 100% is an illegitimate government and will be replaced by a legitimate government quickly and peacefully. So that's female reproductive rights. So GIG is going to unite the world politically with freedom and democracy and female reproductive rights. And GIG is going to unite the world economically and financially with transparency and balanced budget amendments and trade agreements and global currencies, just like the euro. So Europe united economically into one economic union. And so GIG's going to unite the whole planet economically into one economic union. And so GIG is going to unite the planet politically and economically. And then GIG will be able to push the depopulation agenda forward. So GIG is going to monitor every financial transaction by every government on planet Earth. That's transparency, and that'll get rid of corruption. And GIG will provide everybody with a platform so that they can understand what's going on with the world government, and they can contribute to it and participate in it. And so that's global internet government, and that's depopulationism. And hopefully the planet can, work through this in time so that we can, save ourselves and save the planet and save the environment. And then we can continue to advance technology-wise, and eventually in, 50 million or 100 million years from now, robots can take over. And they can, they'll be superior life forms, and, humans won't be needed anymore because will be then inferior life forms. And then robots can go on and colonize the universe. And that's the history of the universe. And that's my documentary on the universe. So, my name is Charles Webster Baer. Today is April 23rd, 2020. I'm in Redmond, Oregon, USA, and my website is globalinternetgovernment.com. And this has been my documentary on the universe. Thank you very much.